Hello, everyone. It was good seeing you yesterday. We discussed the Industrial Revolution in England, why it began, some of the reasons, as well as the advancements in terms of the textile industry with the spinning jenny, new improvements in transportation with the locomotive. But we also discussed yesterday the social aspect of the Industrial Revolution in England in the 1700s and the 1800s, and how the lives of people did improve. There was a vaccination that was developed for smallpox. And you think about today with COVID-19, about discussions developing a vaccination for it. But we also talked to you about people working. People had to work in those factories that started to develop and sprout up all over the place, and how children, women, men worked in those factories, and how conditions weren't the best at all, and maybe even the word horrendous, and how it's going to eventually draw the attention of the British public, and in particular members of Parliament who are going to send people into those factories in industrial England to investigate them, which leads to the assignment that you're going to complete for us by Sunday. And I'm going to show that to you right now. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to be posting this into the classroom later today, is you're going to be completing a writing prompt reporting on the working conditions in the factories of industrial England. You're going to be creating a report. We talked to you at the end of the live session yesterday about what you should be including in your report, such as it being addressed to someone, including information, evidence, as well as signing the report. So the prompt that you're going to be looking at is this. Imagine for a moment you have been given the job to inspect the working conditions in the factories of industrial England. Based on information in the attached testimony from child laborers, write a report for members of Parliament. The format of it should include the following. So the name of someone or group of people it is addressed to, and the date. Now, our suggestion to you in writing this report that you address it to members of Parliament. Dear members of Parliament, and you want to give a date. What I'm going to show you in a moment is what you're going to look at in terms of preparing your report. Most of it comes from the year 1832. So the date that you may want to include in your report is 1832. Now your report is going to be 14 to 16 sentences in length. Make sure that you are including information from at least 3 of the children, and make sure you indicate your source. And again, in a moment, I will show you these sources of information. We want you to also understand that if you're going to quote one of the children, that does not count toward the sentence requirement. Okay, explain what that person is saying in your own words after quoting them. Okay, a direct quote doesn't count toward the sentence requirement. And at the end, you're going to put your name at the end of the report, Mr. DiCrescenzi, double D. All of this should be put in a Google Doc with editing privileges. You're going to be submitting it to the classroom. It's going to be worth 15 points by Sunday, May 17th at 11:59 p.m. Now, what you're going to be getting is a PDF in this assignment that has testimony from the different children. That is what you're going to be basing your report on. So this is what you're going to be using. At the top it says primary sources, child labor in the factories. You have one individual you could draw from, James McNeish. You could see that he was employed in the textile industry at the age of 7. eventually becoming a manager in a textile factory. And you notice that Q&A, questions and answers, okay, for his testimony. Same thing for Stephen Binns, who also worked in a textile factory at the age of 7. And there's information that he's going to include in his testimony, which is included here. You also have Elizabeth Bentley, who worked in a flax mill at the age of 6, starting at the age of 6. Okay, this is her testimony. Going down to Gillett Sharp, testimony that he gave. And the last person is Matthew Crabtree, right? And the testimony that he gave based on his experience working in the factories in industrial England. So you have several sources of information to draw from. This is a hypothetical. You want to imagine for a moment that you have been given the job, the task, to go into those factories. What would you report back to members of Parliament? What did you see with your own eyes based on what you have read in the testimony that was given? Again, this is the format that you will follow in preparing your report. If you're going to include, once again, a direct quote that does not count toward the sentence requirement, explain what that information is. That does count if you're going to include a direct quote. Now, we're also going to be sending out to you today another screencast involving the different industrial age thinkers from the Industrial Revolution, such as one person you heard about earlier in your Adam Smith, some new people, Thomas Mathis, David Ricardo, Jeremy Bentham, as well as Karl Marx. We ask that you review that information, look it over. On Tuesday, when we meet, we'll discuss those thinkers from the Industrial Revolution who offered their solutions to problems that they identified. In the interim, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself. I post my office hours in the classroom. Mrs. HP also has availability through her calendar. Any questions, please send our way. I hope you're doing well. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.